You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to invite
the
all
answer yes or
investigative
no
leads.
to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any
What
people
is
on
the
your
an-
side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers, just look at the
Mr.
stats.
Patel,
And you talk
Mr.
about
Chairman,
cover-ups, man.
Mr. Chairman,
you
this
talk
is
about
my time,
cover-ups.
and I will take as much time as I
Where
want.
were you during the
Instruct the
Obama and
witness,
Biden
Mr.
administrations
Chairman.
when these so-called
Instruct the
cover-ups were
witness.
going on?
Mr.
Why didn't
Chairman.
anyone in those administrations talk to any of these
Mr.
purported
Chairman.
witnesses?
Yeah,
I have
get some regular order, Mr.
every
Chairman.
single person to provide credible information.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Washington.
And I'm gonna
What we are seeing today is the complete abandonment of the truth at all costs mantra that put certain people in power, replaced instead by a stone wall of bureaucracy. We've all watched the clips of KASH Patel on Joe Rogan and Glenn Beck promising to release everything and turn over every stone regarding the Jeffrey Epstein files. But the moment the badge went on and the oath was taken, the tune changed from "let the truth come out" to "further disclosure is not warranted." It's a classic bait and switch that leaves us wondering who is actually being protected in those 300 gigabytes of data? We're diving deep into the heated exchange between Patel and Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, where the high-stakes rhetoric of the campaign trail finally slammed into the reality of institutional cover-ups. If you think this is just another hearing, you're missing the forest for the trees. The room was absolutely electric, and you could see it in the way Pramila Jayapal leaned into her microphone. She wasn't just asking questions. She was building a cage of Patel's own words. She systematically dismantled his man-of-the-people persona by throwing his own tweets and interview quotes back at him. Patel's body language during this was fascinating. He went from a relaxed, almost overconfident posture to a rigid, defensive stance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, before you joined the FBI, you had very strong opinions about what the FBI was hiding regarding Jeffrey Epstein. In a September 2023 interview with Glenn Beck, you said, "The Black Book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI." In December 2023, you said, "Let us know who the pedophiles are." Even for a short time after becoming FBI director, in February of 2025, you tweeted, quote, "There will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned." In June, you told Joe Rogan, quote, "We've reviewed all the information. We're going to give you every single thing we have and can." But then suddenly in July, everything changed. You and Attorney General Pam Bondi released one video and said that there was nothing more to see. Your July memo says you uncovered more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence, but that you had decided no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is a quote. I think what happened, Mr. Patel, is that suddenly you discovered that Donald Trump's name was all over these files, and you started a giant cover-up. So you are under oath, Mr. Patel. You just testified to Mr. Swalwell that you did not speak to the president about the Epstein files. To your knowledge, did Attorney General Pam Bondi speak to the president about what was in the Epstein files?
I can't speak for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
So to your knowledge, you don't have any information. The question was, do you have any knowledge? Do you have any knowledge?
I can't speak.
You are
for the
refusing to
Attorney
answer the
General
question, so
Pam
let me
Bondi.
tell you that the Wall Street Journal reported that in May, Bondi told Trump that he was in the Epstein files, and at the same meeting said that the DOJ did not plan to release the files. Yesterday, you testified to Senator Kennedy that there was, quote, no credible information that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone else, and that you have, quote, continuously and publicly asked the public to come forward with more information, and we'll look into it. Today, in response to Mr. Massey's question, you appear to say that the survivors were not credible. These are survivors.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you this in a second, but let me tell you about
then
the
don't lie about
survivors,
me.
and let's bring them up here into the room. These are women who came to the Hill and testified that they were groomed and raped at the age of 14 and 16 years old, and they called to meet with the president and to meet with the FBI and to have people investigate their claims. Some of them have never testified before. If you are so interested in getting the public to submit any information, why have you not met with them? You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to
Is the
invite all
answer yes or
investigative
no
leads.
to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any
What
people
is
on
the
your
an-
side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers, just look at the
Mr.
stats.
Patel,
And you talk
Mr.
about
Chairman,
cover-ups, man.
Mr. Chairman,
you
this
talk
is
about
my time,
cover-ups.
and I will take
Why-
as much time as I
Where were
want.
you during the
Instruct
Obama and
witness,
Biden
Mr.
administrations
Chairman.
when these so-called
Instruct the
cover-ups were
witness.
going on?
Mr.
Why didn't
Chairman.
anyone in those administrations talk to any of these
Mr.
purported
Chairman.
witnesses?
Yeah, let's
I
get
have
some regular order,
welcomed
Mr.
every
Chairman.
single person to provide credible information.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Washington.
And I'm
but
gonna
when you-
take
when
another
you
couple
accuse
of
the
minutes.
witness of something, he's allowed to respond. That's how it works. You say
Listen,
something,
he didn't
you say
even,
something,
excuse
he's
me,
allowed
Mr.
to
Chairman, you have
respond.
always
of
been
order.
fair, but this
And
is
I'm
not
being
fair.
fair, and you will get
No,
your-
this
you will
is
get your
my
time.
time, and he
We will give the
said
gentlelady
that the
a few
witnesses
additional
were not credible.
seconds of time.
The biggest loophole Jayapal exposed was the July pivot. How does an FBI director go from promising a full data dump in June to claiming by July that 300 gigabytes of new evidence is better left hidden? Her accusation was direct and heavy. She alleged that Patel saw Donald Trump's name littered through the files and hit the emergency stop button on transparency. Patel's response to whether Attorney General Pam Bondi discussed these files with the president was a textbook dodge. I can't speak for her. In the world of high-level politics, I can't speak for her usually means I know exactly what happened, but I'm not allowed to say it. This is only the beginning of the cracks in the narrative. Stick around and keep watching because the way Patel handles the questions about the survivors is something you absolutely have to see for yourself.
I'm going to get an additional minute of time because
No,
that's
you'll
how
get
much
what
time
you
he
won't get a
took.
minute. You'll get some seconds. What we think is under 5 minutes. You don't get to demand how
Mr.
much time you
Patel.
get. That's not how it works.
Mr. Patel, are the victims of the Jeffrey Epstein horrific trafficking ring, are they credible?
Any person with information about ongoing
I
sexual
didn't.
trafficking.
I'm asking you if they're credible.
Ma'am, I'm
Are they
commenting on the
credible?
evidence we have.
But
And we have routinely asked for people to come forward with more evidence, and we will look at
Mr.
it. And the evidence that we have was the same evidence that the Biden and
Patel,
Obama Justice Departments
Mr.
had.
Patel,
And they
this is
determined, not
new.
me, they determined
Mr.
that that
Chairman,
information was not
Mr.
credible.
Chairman, he's not letting me even ask my questions.
You
This is
ask the
ridiculous.
questions, he gives an answer. You may not like what he says,
No,
but that
I'm
doesn't mean you get to
asking- he's not
interrupt
answering
him.
my question.
Mr.
You
Chairman,
have
could we
an-
restore the gentlelady 45 seconds so she
We
can
will
complete
give her
her
additional
question?
30 seconds, which is what I said
I'm
earlier.
going to keep taking my time because
you'll take
here's
the
the
time
thing.
that you get. You get
are
30
not
seconds.
answering the question. The question
I
is,
have, you just don't like the answer.
Are these women credible? It's a yes or no answer.
I have answered the question.
Well,
and I
what is
keep
the
telling
answer?
you, I'm the only FBI director that has welcomed new information in this
Okay.
case. This
You're not-
administration is the only one that has welcomed any new information in this
Is there
case.
a yes or no to whether
Present
the
new
victims
credible
are
information.
credible?
Present new
Are
information.
the victims credible
The victims-
or not?
I'll tell you what happened in the last Trump
Are they
administration.
credible or not? You can't even
Victims
say.
credibly came forward, and you know what happened? President Trump authorized the indictments of
President
Jeffrey
Trump
Epstein.
called
Not
them
Biden,
a hoax.
not Obama.
President Trump
no one
called
else.
the entire thing a Democratic hoax. So I would like to ask
The
you
gentlelady's
if
time has
you
expired.
will
I gave her
meet-
the additional
if
45
you-
seconds she
if you
requested.
will
The
meet-
gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from
Mr.
New
Chairman,
Jersey is
I would like
recognized
to
for his
ask if
5
you would
minutes.
meet with the women who were sexually
time does not belong-
abused and raped and groomed
time does
at
not
the
belong
ages
to the
of
gentlelady from
14
Washington.
and
The time now
16
belongs-
years old. Are
the
you
time-
going to cover up?
No, I'm
Are
not
you
gonna-
going to
I'm
continue
gonna
to
recognize
cover
the
up
gentleman
for
from
the
New Jersey
rich
for
and
his 5 minutes.
powerful men, including those that might be on this committee?
I can yell
Or
too,
are
Mr.
you
Chairman.
going
I don't wanna
to
yell
allow
above
them
this.
to
The time belongs
testify?
to the gentleman from New Jersey. I
Are
appreciate
you
the
going to allow
gentlelady
them to
yielding
testify,
back.
Mr. Patel?
Go ahead,
Will
Mr.
you
Angelo.
allow them to testify to you,
Mr. Patel.
As the hearing progressed, the tension shifted from documents to human beings. Jayapal brought up the survivors, women who were groomed and abused as children, and asked why the manhunting FBI director hasn't bothered to meet with them. This is where the mask really slipped. Instead of a simple, "I will meet them," Patel got combative, snapping back with, "Look at the stats," and trying to deflect the blame onto the Obama and Biden administrations. It's a weak argument, frankly. Criticizing your predecessors doesn't excuse your current silence. The loophole here is massive. Patel claims he wants new credible information. But when Jayapal asks if the victims themselves are credible, he refuses to give a yes or no. He hides behind commenting on the evidence, which is a slap in the face to the women who risked everything to testify. If the leader of the FBI won't even call a rape survivor credible in a public hearing, how can we expect the agency to prioritize their justice over political optics? The most shocking part was the shouting match over regular order. Patel used his time to lecture Jayapal on history rather than answering for the present. He's leaning into this outsider persona to avoid accountability, but it's clear he's playing for an audience of one, his boss. The way he dodged the question of whether powerful men on the very committee he was testifying before were in those files was a chilling moment of silence. What we're left with is a director who is more concerned with his social media manhunter brand than actually providing the transparency he used to gain fame. The institutional integrity of the FBI is being traded for political loyalty, and the Epstein survivors are being used as pawns in a game of legal chess. If you value this kind of raw, unfiltered breakdown of what's actually happening in our government, you're in the right place. We don't just show the clips, we look for the lies hidden in the stats. If you want to support independent analysis that isn't afraid to call out both sides, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It helps us keep the pressure on and ensures these hearings don't just disappear into the news cycle. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next report.